Hello everyone, welcome to Cloud Patashala's video series. In this video series, we are overseeing different components of Google Cloud Services and specifically focusing on the compute engine. In the previous video, we did create a Windows server on the GCP platform and connect it to the server. Now, what we did intentionally in the previous video was take the lowest configuration of the VM instance that's available, that is 2 vCPUs and 1 GB of memory to connect to the server. And if you've seen the previous video, you would have seen that the performance of the Windows server was really pathetic, and it took a huge amount of time for us to connect and perform any kind of operations. I still have the server running on my console. So here's the server. If you see that the CPU utilization is 100% and also the memory utilization is about 94%, which is really tough. And I am currently not running any services in the background. This is the default server manager that was opened, and if you see that the server manager is still trying to open itself and refresh the entire settings. So let's try to see how we could increase the resources on the server going forward. So I'll quickly close the connection, and we'll say that yes, we can disconnect the Windows settings. Now there are few ways in which this can be achieved, but the basic principles always remain the same. In order to upgrade or scale up or scale down any VM instance, be it in any cloud services, the first option is to stop the instance, and then we would be able to change the settings. Now, before I do that, let's try to edit the VM instance and try to see if I can alter the instance type or the machine type over here and see if that is even possible when the instance itself is running. If you see the machine type, it clearly says that we must stop the VM instance to edit the machine type settings on this server. So I quickly cancel this, and I would go to options over here and stop the instance and wait for the instance to go to the stop state. Now this should not take much of a time. So if you see that the VM instance has been stopped, and this is how a stopped instance would look on the GCP console. I'll go inside the instance, that is, and click on edit on the top, and this should now take us to the same screen which we saw earlier, but this time if you see that the option to enable the instances has been changed. Now basically what I'm going to do here is only increase the machine type in such a way that I get more memory on the system. So the earlier memory that I had configured for the system was 1 GB, and I'm bumping it up to 4 GB. The CPU count has been kept as it is, so we are still using 2 vCPUs on this instance. Now I could also click on the option 3 dots over here and start and resume the instance. So once I start the instance, so this should initiate the process of booting up the server. Now since the instance was stopped and started, so we would definitely see a change in the public IP address of this VM instance. If you remember, the earlier VM instance had a different public IP than this one. Now if you're wondering what the public IP was, I could always go to the file and try to open it with a text editor, which my favorite text editor being Visual Studio Code. So I'll do that over there, and you would very soon see that this is the IP that I am connecting to. The username by default which I'm trying to log in with is the default username that was provided to us. So I would have to wait for the instance to come to the running stage, and that is when the RDP option would be enabled for us on the extreme right. I would click on download the RDB file again, and this time I should be able to connect to the instance right away. And hopefully, if you remember the password, that's really great. Is It's always recommended to have your password saved somewhere like this, and I could definitely go to my system and create this settings over there. I click on yes. That is basically typically accepting the SSL certificates that are provided, and if you notice this time, the boot up process is really quick. The instance has come to a running state, and I'm able to see the window at the earliest possible time. So this was less than 15 seconds, to be really frank about the boot up process. And now if you look at the performance, there should be a drastic increase in the performance. Yes, the CPU is still being overutilized, but if you see, this is not a constant 100% or 95+% like we saw earlier, but this is the CPU going up and down, which is the usual behavior that a CPU should behave like. Now, if you come to the memory, this is where the drastic improvement is. If you realize, by default, the Windows Server actually needs about 1.9 GB of memory to run its operations smoothly, and earlier we only had 1 GB of memory. So this is all about scaling up a Windows Server, or in that case any VM instance in GCP. The basic tasks are the same. We first have to stop the instance, and then we need to change the machine type on the now that we have done with this VM instance. So now if you would like to scale down the VM instance, the process is exactly the same. You would have to stop the instance and then change the machine type to something lower, and that should do the trick. I hope you like this video. In order to save costs, I always recommend to stop or delete the instances. In this case, I would delete the VM instance straight away. So in this case, along with the VM being deleted, the storage, that is the boot volume, would also be deleted. Hope you like this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have reached this end of the video, I would really appreciate if you could hit the like button over there, which would encourage us to create more videos like this. If you're not subscribed to the channel, it would be great if you could do that and help us reach to more people. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.